Here's something I wish someone had told me when I was first scaling e-com brands. Your customer doesn't live on one platform. They discover you on Meta, they Google you before they buy. If you don't have a system connecting all of that, you're leaving majority of your revenue on the table every single month. I've watched brands spend $500,000 in ad spend in a single year and stay completely flat. Not because their ads weren't working, because they were only running half the system. I'm Anurag, founder of Pixel Penguin Media, and over the last 8 years, we've managed over $150 million in e-com ad spend across 600 brands. And the ones we've taken from $50,000 to $1 million per month all figured out the same thing. Meta, Google, and Klaviyo aren't three separate strategies, they're one system. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how that system works and why without all three running together, you will always hit a seed. Meta is your growth engine, but only if you use it like one. Most brands treat Meta like a vending machine. Put money in and get customers out. And when it works at a basic level, they think they've figured it out. One campaign, one creative, broad targeting, get the algorithm. And look, the problem isn't that this doesn't work. It's that it only works up to a point, and that ceiling usually hits somewhere between $50,000 to $100,000 a month. And then everything just starts. And most founders have no idea why. And here's why. You're running Meta like it's a single lever, when in reality, it's an entire engine with multiple moving parts. In 2026, Meta doesn't reward budget the way it used to. It rewards creative diversity. That means multiple angles, multiple formats, multiple hooks running at the same time, not randomly, but inside a system. A system that tells you what your audience actually responds to and then scales what works. The brand stuck at $50,000, they're running maybe 3 to 5 creatives. The brand's doing $1 million a month, they're running hundreds. Constantly testing, constantly refreshing, never getting performance plateau. And it's not just creatives, the structure matters just as much. The top products should not be buried in one campaign. They need their own scaling environments. You need retargeting layers for people who've already engaged. And your budget should follow performance, not gut feel. Because when we audit accounts that are stuck, it's almost always the same picture. One broad campaign doing everything, no real retargeting, no creative systems. And a budget that's either too cautious to scale or too aggressive for the structure supporting it. The fix is not spend more. The fix is building the entire engine correctly first. Google is where your revenue gets captured, and most brands are completely ignoring. Here's what almost every brand we audit gets wrong. They're spending $20K, $30K, sometimes way more on Meta, and less than $500 on, sometimes nothing. And they think that's fine, because Meta ROAS looks decent, but what they don't realize is this. Meta creates demand, Google is where that demand converts. Think about your own behavior. You see a product on Instagram, what's the first thing you do? You Google it. You search the brand, you compare options, you look for reviews. Now here's the problem. If you're not showing up in that moment, your competitors. You pay to create the interest and someone else captures that sale. And this is extremely common across almost every audit we do. The Google setup is either missing or it's so basic it might as well not exist. One PMAX campaign, no real headlines, no descriptions, no creative assets, just product images pulled from the site, and a budget running on autopilot. No direction, no structure, no strategy. So the algorithm is just guessing, and the brand sees a decent ROAS, not realizing most of those conversions would already want to happen anyway. A proper Google setup is different. It acts as a precision capture layer on top of Meta. You're building campaigns around your best products, your highest intent keywords, your warmest audience. You're making sure that every dollar of demand actually turns into revenue. And then you go one step further. You retarget people who visited your site, added to cart, started checkout, but didn't buy. Because those are your highest intent users, and right now, most brands are just letting them disappear. When Google is set up properly alongside Meta, everything gets more efficient. Your blended ROAS improves, your CPA drops, and you start converting customers you were already paying to reach. Quick pause here. If you're watching this and recognizing your own account in what I just described, we do free audits for e-com brands. We look at exactly what you have running, tell you what's working, what isn't, and what the path to $1 million a month actually looks like for your specific brand. The link is in the description. Klaviyo is the multiplier, and without it, you're rebuilding from zero every month. Meta and Google bring people in. But if every month you're starting from zero again, your cost to grow never goes down, it only goes up. And that's the trap most brands are stuck in. They're on a treadmill, spending more just to maintain the same revenue and wondering why scaling feels so expensive. The missing piece is retention. And that's what Klaviyo does when it's set up properly. Every customer you acquire is an asset, but only if you have a system to keep them. Most brands do have Klaviyo. There's usually a welcome flow, an abandoned cart email, maybe a campaign here, and they're generating 10-20% of revenue from it. And thinking this is fine. It's not. That 10-20% is actually proof that retention works for your brand. It's just underbuilt. A real retention system goes deeper. It tracks behavior, segments customers based on what they bought and when, identifies who's about to churn, and brings them back at exactly the right moment automatically. When this is working properly, everything changes. Your LTV goes up, which means you can spend more to acquire customers, which means you can outbid competitors, which means you can scale faster. Your returning customer rate increases. So more of your monthly revenue comes from people you're already paying, not people you're paying to find again. And your profitability improves because you're extracting more value from every dollar already spent. This is why brands doing $1 million a month don't just have better ads, they have a complete system where Meta feeds Google, Google feeds Klaviyo, and nothing gets wasted. If you've been stuck at the same revenue number for months, spending more, testing new agencies, trying different strategies, and still getting the same result, it's almost never because ads stopped working. It's because one or two of these three pieces is either missing or broken. And until the full system is working together, you will keep hitting the same ceiling. If you want to know what that system looks like for your brand, the audit is free. We look at your actual accounts, not a generic checklist, and we tell you exactly what's holding you back and what fixing it looks like. We guarantee the result before you spend $1 with us. The link is in the description below. And if you want more of this, subscribe. We put out videos every week breaking down exactly how we approach scaling e-commerce brands past $1 million a month. And there's a lot more coming.